guys, what's up? It's Anna here and welcome to my yoga channel. For those of you who haven't watched any of my other videos, thank you for joining us. And today I'm going to be guiding you through a beginner series. So this series of videos is for anyone who's never done yoga before, a complete beginner who doesn't know all the terms and the different alignments. So I'll talk you through straight from the beginning, everything you need to know, and we'll build up each video, so by the end you should know a lot more about yoga than you did before, and you should be a lot stronger and more flexible. So grab your mat, and you maybe need a blanket if you've got tight hips, but other than that, yeah, grab your mat and let's get started. So we're going to begin in seated pose, and this is called easy pose, but don't be fooled. If you sit at a desk all day on a chair, then this can actually be really challenging for your hips. So don't worry if you find it painful to start with. Ease into it, and the more you do it, then the more flexible you get. So what I want you to do is come to sit on the floor in like a cross-legged position. We're not going to cross our legs, so our legs are bent facing outwards, but if this is too painful for your hips or you've not got enough motion, then you can prop yourself up. So you can get a cushion or a blanket just to sit on, and this will lift up your pelvis and make it easier. And then you need to fold your legs in, so you're kind of looking down and you've got a triangle position. And you want to make sure that your sitting bones are nice and equal on the floor. So these are the bones in your bum, and you can move away the flesh if you want to really get grounded, so you can get a nice balanced pose to start with. Your spine should be long, upwards, and your shoulders should be back and down, so not like hunched up. And you can just rest your hands flat on your thighs, you can rest them up. It all depends on when this pose comes into the practice. But another thing to think about is keeping that belly in. So I'm going to keep reminding you, belly in. That's one of the most easy things to forget, and this is where energy leaks. So you need to keep the energy inside the body and not be so like flubbed and relaxed. So we want a nice straight spine and feeling tall through the head. Good. So to start, we're going to warm up our neck before we get in. This is really important. Obviously, if you're doing this first thing in the morning, your neck hasn't been stretched yet. So we're just going to tilt the neck and draw large circles, making sure we've got a nice gap between our ear and our shoulder. We're not hunching. And the other way. So really feel the different muscles stretch when you look down and round. Perfect. Now we'll go onto all fours. So this position on your mat, like a tabletop position. Things to think about: hands underneath, directly underneath the shoulders. You don't want to be leaning too far on your wrists forward, and knees just under the hips. Nice distance between, so the body width distance. Knees not close together, they need to be hip width apart. And if you have a look at my body right now, I'm kind of slumped into my shoulders, so you want to have a firm shoulder base. So you're pushing through the hands and lifting through the shoulders. So this will be our tabletop position. And then to carry out cat and cows, on the inhale we drop the belly, lift the heart through the shoulders, tailbone comes high, gazing high, and on the exhale we round the back. Inhale through, and exhale round. So carry on doing a few of these at your own pace. In yoga we use the breath to carry us through the poses, so without the breath it is really just a stretching glass. So we want to make sure that we stay connected to the breath throughout the practice, so concentrating on that. And if we ever forget and we're concentrating maybe on other things, just remind yourself to come back to the mat and to your practice today, to be present. Okay, so now we're going to push our belly onto our thighs to come to a child's pose. So this pose is used a lot in practice, and you can come to this position if ever you feel tired or you're losing concentration on the breath, or you just need a rest. So what you do is you're pulling your hands as far forward as they can, and your head comes to rest on the floor, and your belly is actively pushing against your shins. And if this is not very comfortable for your hips, you can bring the knees out wide, step back into child's pose. This position might be easier for you. I'm going to take a few deep breaths here. This stimulates our digestion in this pose and warms up our spine. Good. So we're going to come up now, back to all fours, and we're going to tuck our toes in at the back and come up to a high plank. So this warms up our shoulders again, so we're doing the same thing with our shoulders. We're not going to come low, we're going to push through the hands, our belly is tucked in, and we don't want our bum high, so we're pulling our bum, tailbone in, so we've got a nice rounded back, a nice long line from the top of our head to our toes. We don't want like a squiggly line, so we're nice and firm, bum in. Good. So the distance that your hands and feet are now is the distance that we need for the downward facing dog. So push back on the exhale to a downward facing dog. I'm going to making sure the distance, you can adjust it slightly, but that was a good guidance, the space between the plank and the downward dog. So that's a good guidance of how close to keep your hands and feet. So things to think about in the downward dog position is our hips are coming high, we're tilting our pelvis, and then if we need to, we can take a little micro bend in the knee so that we can then feel the stretch on the backs of our legs. If we can't feel it there, there's no point. That's where the stretch is aimed, target area. So, other little things is we want our belly to be tucked in again, same old. Shoulders away from the ears. We don't want to have them hunched up like this, shoulders away. Energy through the hands, and our fingers are nice and active, so like spider fingers. You want to have them like quite wide and pressing into the floor. Good, so feeling it in the backs of our legs. And the aim isn't to put your feet on the floor. This is only achieved by some people who have the right range of motion in their ankle makeup. So some people will be able to, some people won't. Depends on how their ankles are built. So the aim is just to feel it in the backs of the legs. And you want to send energy through the backs of the legs. Good. So we've been here for quite a while now. So we can come out of this pose, into the high plank again, and we're just going to take little steps towards our hands, rising up to standing position. So, standing position, called mountain pose, is how we start most of our routines. So we need to make sure we've got this pose on lock. So we need to have our feet hip width apart, and we're going to keep our head, our heart, and our hips in line. So if you look at my body positioning now, you want to make sure that your belly's tucked in and your hips are rotated in as well. So you've got this nice, long, straight plane through our body. And our shoulders again, back and down along our back. Got this nice firm pose. And you can kind of move around on your feet to help you find where the centre is. So you want your weight distributed evenly across your feet. You can fan your toes to give you a sturdier base. And then, once we've got this position, a test to see if you are balanced is just close your eyes. See if you can hold this pose without falling over. Good, so another thing to mention, activate the legs. So tightening and tensing the muscles keeps you firm, and it's a good way to start. So now we're going to step back our left leg towards the back of our mat, and our back foot should be facing the top left corner. So we're kind of all facing forward, but the back foot is just slightly out at an angle. And we are going to lunge into our right leg. And when we lunge, we are keeping facing forward. So we're not going to come out sideways. Our hips are facing towards the front. And we're lunging into this front foot. So the distance should be a comfortable distance for you. Some people prefer it longer if they've got a bit of longer motion, range of motion in their hip. And some people prefer to have it a bit closer. This is a bit more sturdy. Making sure that our feet aren't totally in line. It's really hard to balance, like on a tightrope. We want to make sure we've got two planes, and we're facing forwards. So then we raise our arms above our head. And this positioning with our arms can also be varied depending on the range of motion of your shoulders. So you can have them wide if it's easier, or some people can connect them at the top. But if this is too, like it has a pinching pain on your shoulders, then you can just leave them to open wide and your hands can be apart. Okay, so another thing to think of, like mountain pose, head, heart and hips. So our heart shouldn't be out, should tuck it all in. So we've got this nice firm warrior pose. So this one is warrior one. So we should be aiming to get our thigh parallel to the ground, but this comes with time. So we've got our warrior one. And then on inhales, we come to a T position. So this is our hands that are straight out to the side. And then exhale, we lunge into our warrior two. This time our hips are facing the side, and we're going to shuffle our foot so it's directly sideways on the mat, not facing the top anymore, coming on sideways. So this will be warrior two. Gazing this time to look forward. Same thing, head, heart, hips, all in line, not going to be floppy. And this is a nice strong pose, energy through the fingertips. Good, so we're just going to hold this for two more. Inhale one, exhale, inhale two, exhale. Good, so now we're going to heel toe our feet. So in yoga, when we say heel toe, simply means heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Good, so now our feet together, we're going to do the other side. So we come to the other side of the mat, stepping our right foot back this time, so that our right toe is facing the top corner. Same alignment, warrior one. Inhale one, exhale, inhale two, exhale, inhale three, exhale, inhale four, exhale. Making sure we've kept our 3 H's, head, heart, hips in line. And on the next exhale, we're going to come to a T and open out to warrior two. So keeping the lunge nice and deep in the front. Feet this time facing the side, not towards the front. Gazing to the front. So we're going to do 3 more breaths. Inhale. Inhale 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. Should be strengthening the quads, so start to burn. Inhale 3. Exhale. Good. So now we're just going to come back to our high plank. So we windmill our arms. So this basically means one hand on the mat, followed by the other. Stepping the back foot backwards, come to our high plank. I'm just going to lower all the way down to the mat. Placing our body on the floor. And then we're going to roll over. And we're going to take Shavasana. So, favourite pose, lying down at the end. Enjoy the blissful relaxation. So you want to make sure your feet are splayed out to the side. Everything is relaxed, so you don't want your muscles to be activated anymore. You bring your hands open towards the sky, shoulders away from the neck, and you just relax here for a few breaths. So now take a deep inhale, bring some life back into the body. You can stretch your arms above your head. I'm going to roll over to the side, so we roll over to the right side normally and come into like a fetus position, so like how you get out of bed in the morning. And then keeping your eyes closed, we're going to come back up to a seated position, like we did at the beginning. You can get your blanket here to sit on. Just keeping our eyes closed, and we're just going to become aware of our body and how we feel after the practice today. Give thanks to our body for being strong and allowing us to do all the poses. So hands to heart center. And namaste. If you enjoyed this video, then give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos like this one. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. So thanks again guys, and see you next time.